Hi, every human who's watching this video right now. I'm Jordan Reed.
I'm Lindsay Reed.
And this is Spell Bonding, where a friend of ours tells us a very scary story or two. And with us today is our friend Chelsea Johnson. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi.
Hello.
Chelsea, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Really bad.
We're good.
Not good.
We're perfectly fine. Chelsea, I wanted to talk to you really quick. You just launched a website.
I did.
What
Yes.
even is it? Now, a lot of people, we've been reading the forums online, and a lot of people say that your website is called google2.com. It's like a second, it's like a better Google is what you're advertising, but that's not true, is it?
It could be viewed as that, but I like to explain it differently.
Okay.
So basically I'm like super into astrology. And so mainly the website is for my astrology like services. But over the last year, I've been really getting into like numerology, which I know you guys are into that too.
Yes.
And like I do tarot readings like on the side, just like very low key. But basically it's just like a website for my astrology stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
You are like our number guru. Like anytime any number shows up, we're always like, we gotta ask Chelsea.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Oh, go ahead, Chelsea.
Oh, I was just gonna say my two stories I have are related to numbers too.
Oh, good.
Oh, cool.
Well, before we get into it, I know that you kind of hipped us a little bit to, after we talked about it, which was like barely researched, which is par for the course, about angel numbers and about seeing the same number a lot, like throughout the day or whatever else. Yesterday I saw 444 and no, 2 days ago I saw 444 and 555.
Ooh, okay.
So I don't know.
I know like 444 is all about grounding and like building a stable foundation. Like, so maybe like things are going to start forming for you like that you maybe are like hoping to build. And then 555 is like significant of like change and like freedom and like just really going for the things that you want to build. So
Cool.
Those make sense. Those are cool.
Okay. All right, great.
Nice.
So do you want to tell us something weird?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're ready.
We're ready for it.
Okay, cool. So I have two stories. Basically, they both have to do with me and Trent, like Trent and I. Two different apartments. So I'll start at the first one. So the first one, I used to live, well, it wasn't an apartment, it was a house. But I used to live in a home in Grove City, Ohio, if you guys know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived there with like two of my girlfriends. So basically like I didn't live with Trent at the time, and he would just like come over occasionally. And whenever I was home alone, it was just like really eerie. Like I knew that something felt off about the place, and like I almost always avoided being there home alone because it was just like I was sad, and it was just like I do not like this vibe. So he came over, and the more he came over, the more we kind of like talked about how weird it was. And like I had two closets in my room, and like one of the closets was facing my bed, and like it always felt like somebody was like looking at you.
There's something about closets, you know, and it's
And hallways.
and
And basements. And showers.
and chandeliers and balconies.
Fine
Why-
home furnishings.
Yeah, right. Like why? Like it's almost like there's not really one aspect of a house in general that can't be creepy.
Right.
Like appliances malfunctioning. Like I don't know, but I feel like if we're like doing a top 3 or top 2, basements I think are up there. Okay, well then attics, closets.
Yeah.
Yes. So weird vibes with this closet. Like anytime we would be in my room, it would just be like instant weirdness, and Trent would even feel it, and he would start getting like irritated or like irritable out of nowhere, and I'm like, this is like freaky energy in here. So one night we were like laying in bed about to fall asleep, and I have like a bedside table with a digital clock on it, and we had like eaten granola bars before bed. So there was like one granola bar wrapper.
So real wild night.
Yeah, is it?
Yes,
This
so
was like
wild.
this was like a crazy night.
Yes, granola bars, ghosts. So there was one wrapper. I think I threw mine away, but I think he left his on the bedside table, and it was there, and I didn't throw it away. But we were just laying there, and the fan is like going on high speed, and it's not like blowing the wrapper away, or it's like not making any sounds or anything yet. And we're laying there, and he's like, "Here I am. Here's Trent, and then here's the bedside table." And out of nowhere, I just hear like a crinkling. Like it sounds like somebody grabbed it. And I was just laying there trying to fall asleep. And I was like, subconsciously, I was thinking like, it's no big deal. Like just nothing happened. But like I felt my body start to raise up and like start to look at it. And Trent, I thought he was asleep, but he was like, "Are you looking over there?" So like he had an urge to look over there too, and he was like questioning it too. And as soon as I lean up and like look at the digital clock, my eyes are like fuzzy, and then as soon as they focus, the clock switches from 11:10 to 11:11, like that exact second. And my jaw drops because it was like very weird vibes in the room. Like
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was trying to raise up and look at it. Like I felt like somebody was like forcing me to like raise up and look at it. And I was like freaking out. He thought it was weird, but he didn't think it was like as creepy. But for some reason, he wanted to like switch sides in the bed. So I was now closer to the clock, and I'm laying there kind of just like feeling panicky. Like, what just happened? Like now I'm closer to the closet too. I hate this place. Like, oh no. And I'm laying there and I'm like, man, what if I open my eyes and see another number? Like I kept seeing in my brain like 11:22. And I'm like so scared to open my eyes. And then I opened my eyes and it was 11:22. It's like,
Weird.
I felt like something wasn't leaving me alone. Like it was scary.
So, okay, so for someone who is interested in numerology, I just like the stuff. I mean, but I also don't know anything.
Okay.
You see, or I guess I see 11:11, and I think, oh, good, the Make-A-Wish number. But then, but there has to be more significance seeing 11:11 at that moment, right when it changes, and then hearing the crunch.
Yeah.
So does 11:11 have other meanings than just like, oh, I better wish for something?
So my interpretation of it is like, I've heard other people explain it too, like their take on 11:11. Because if you Google it, basically all it says is like, pay attention to your thoughts, like in this time. And I feel like there's something deeper to that, to 11:11 than that. And I've heard somebody else explain it as like, somebody else like asked their angels or like meditated on it, and basically they saw this vision of like Martin Luther King, Bob Marley, like all these huge significant people, and like basically what he heard was like, we are all one, like one, like this is all the same universal energy. Like I don't know, I felt tapped into like, definitely, I just knew that there was another energy in the room.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I like thinking of it like that, like we are all one. Like this is the whole universal energy, like you were tapped into at that moment.
So like it is, I mean, aesthetically, it also is a very cool looking number, but then I think that makes sense. Like if someone or something was trying to get your attention by way of crinkling a thing and then looking, and then you're receiving the message that was intended,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
and if the number does in fact mean connectivity or something, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I just had like a little epiphany just now, like 2 or 22 is like partnership and like two beings. So I was like, maybe somebody was trying to be like, I am with you.
Yeah, seriously. Do you have any other granola bars hidden away in
Right.
your granola bar stash?
I am hungry.
So you had another story. Is this also about numerology?
Slightly,
Cool.
but this is more something that Trent experienced, but I'm involved. He actually called your hotline and like tried to explain it one time.
Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
gonna tell I'm gonna try to tell my story, my side of the story. So this was in our last apartment that we were in. We just moved from like Easton, Columbus area, and we were in an apartment there. And it was probably like 12:30, and Trent likes to play like video games with his friends online. And so it was like 12:30, and I was like falling asleep alone because he was like playing games. And I go to sleep, and then I wake up at like 2:30, and he's still playing. And I'm like, I'm like, when are you coming to bed? And he comes in and talks to me for a while. And I don't remember if the TV was on or off at this point. I think it was off. It was like 2:30, and we watched TV until like 3 a.m. ish. And then he turned it off. And I normally like sleep on my side, so I was like facing away from him. And I just remember like laying there, it's pitch black in the room, and I'm like falling asleep. You know, when you're like half asleep and you're just dozing off. I was just laying there, and then out of nowhere, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, why wouldn't I be? Like, what do you mean? I'm fine. I'm just chilling, trying to sleep.
I'm gonna start saying that whenever Lynn's asks if I'm tired or something, I'm just chilling.
Just chilling.
I'm just chilling, dude.
And so he was like, I was like, yeah. And then out of nowhere, I see him getting it back up to turn the TV back on. And I'm like, why are you turning it back on? Like, I thought we were going to sleep, you know, like you're turning it back on. And he was like, the scariest thing just happened to me. And I guess I had my back turned away from him, but he said out of nowhere, I like turned my neck all the way around and like looked at him and was like smiling real big and laughing. And he said he tried to ignore it and go to bed. And then he said all of a sudden, like the room got really dark, like much more dark than usual. And he looked at the digital clock that I have, and it was 3:33. And he couldn't take his eyes off of it. Like he said he was like, I was like paralyzed looking at the clock for the full minute. And then all of a sudden he like was trying to go to sleep, and he kept having these visions of like someone laughing and smiling like manically like I was, but like smashing someone's hand with a hammer. And he was like, whoa, like what's happening? And he said out of nowhere he felt someone like kicking or pushing the bed like near our feet. And he was like so scared he couldn't believe it. And he like put his finger up on the wall to see if it would like move with the bed. And it was like definitely moving, like something was kicking the bed. And I was just freaked out because I was like, all I remember is just going to sleep, and then out of nowhere you're like, are you okay?
Right.
Ooh.
I definitely did not like laugh at you. I did not smile. So that was really scary. I felt like something like entered me, and I couldn't go to sleep the rest of the night because I was like scared too.
Yeah.
And
I
like,
don't blame you.
why would you laugh too? Because
Right.
like, I mean, there are a lot of positives about going to sleep, but I wouldn't say going to sleep is particularly funny, you know?
Right, like LMAO.
Right.
Yeah, like we've never been laying in bed and be like, and just to laugh, like, can you believe we're sleeping? That's so weird.
Right.
So it seems like, okay, so you looked, well, allegedly, well, I guess not allegedly, but you have no recollection. You
Right.
looked at Trent, smiled and laughed, which already is like, okay, strange, especially if you don't remember it, or if it happens up here, wherever, the
Right.
shaking and moving.
Right.
And he saw 333, and the room got very dark.
Yes.
Oh man, it's like one's enough.
Yeah.
I know. One thing. He said that all happened in like a span of about 10 minutes, and then he got up.
10
He turned
minutes?
on it. Yeah.
That's too long.
I know. He was like, I'm getting up and I'm turning on It's Always Sunny because I cannot go to sleep. He was like, I'm not going to sleep now.
So what is 333? How does that fit into this?
I I'm not entirely sure. I was thinking like, I mean, I know it is half of 666 and 666 is like scary. But I was thinking also 333 is mind, body, soul. Like the
Oh,
Holy Trinity, like threes,
yeah.
like a lot of like spiritual people go with three for some reason. So I'm not sure. I don't know. My interpretation of it was like he was in the presence of like a scary spirit, like I don't know what it was, and maybe like his angels were like, "Hey, we're here with you, 333. Like I'm here. Like I hope you notice me." I
Yeah.
don't know. That's what I think, but he thought it was scary, and he made me take the clock down. So
That's funny. Yeah, because I guess now, especially if you were to have an analog clock, it's a little bit more difficult to see if it's exactly like an angel number or not.
right, like trying to count the minutes.
Yeah, like I could picture someone with like a protractor or something, even if that's how you do it. I don't even know how to use a protractor
Right.
or a clock
I mean,
for that matter. Yeah, and it's so
Who
nice
needs that?
having it just say the numbers.
Uh-huh.
Reading the time on a clock anyways is just so
hard.
it's so 2006.
That's what I was gonna say. It's the 2000s.
So have you are no longer in that house?
No, we've since moved to another apartment. We've been,
Anything? Oh, go ahead, Chelsea.
oh, I was gonna say we've been in like 5 apartments in the last 2 years. So,
Anything in this one?
not in this one yet.
Yeah.
There was another instance at like 2 apartments ago where like every night at 3:30 Trent would start waking up, and I told him, I was like, that's weird, like I haven't woken up at 3:30 yet. And then that night when I said that, in the middle of the night, I'm like laying in bed, and then Dewey, our dog, starts crying. And then immediately I'm like, why is he whining in the middle of the night? And I go to look at my phone, and it was 3:30 on the dot.
See?
So weird.
Oh, it's so weird.
It's so weird. It's like somebody was listening, like, oh, you don't wake up at 3:30? I'm making you.
I pictured what is like this thing. You're gonna wake up at 3:30.
Right.
Yeah, you're waking up. So I find this really interesting because like some people I feel like I don't know if it's a sensitivity issue where you're more susceptible to things happening, or if it's something that had happened in your life, or even if it's like an object that you own or something that's like has some sort of an attachment. But it seems like I guess compared to me and Lynn's, you're
Mhm.
noticing this stuff way more, and like certain things are maybe happening to you more than your average person, I guess.
Right. So I've been trying to figure it out from an astrological perspective for a while, like what placements, would people have if they're like seeing ghosts or like susceptible to this like type of energy. And I find it interesting because like I know Pisces is the last sign, so maybe it's like closest to the astral realm, like maybe Pisces and Aries. And Pisces energy in general in a birth chart, like you could have a Pisces placement, you could have Neptune in a particular, like maybe Neptune's the planetary ruler of Pisces. But it's all about like illusion, seeing stuff in dreams, like intuition. Like if you had Neptune in like your third house is like communication. So maybe you would be able to communicate to spirits easier. But I know for me, like I'm a Pisces, and Trent actually has his sun in the 12th house of his birth chart. And the 12th house is like Pisces, Neptune, intuition, energy.
Oh.
So I think like definitely both he and I, when we were younger, have had like spiritual creepy experiences. I think it might be that Neptune energy, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, that would make sense, especially if both of you.
yeah.
Right.
And I feel like especially in terms of astrology and numerology, you're the smartest person here, so we're just going to blindly believe whatever you say.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you could tell us that both Libras and Tauruses also pick their noses and eat their boogers way more and be like, well, we do. You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely
This
right.
is true.
Even though
Here we
we
are.
don't anymore.
Right.
Not today.
Right.
Not today. Yeah, not today. Well, Chelsea, thank you very much for
Yeah.
telling us these pretty captivating stories.
You're so welcome. Thank you guys for having me.
You
I love
know
this
it.
idea. This
Oh,
is a
cool.
Good.
Thanks.
It's
Yeah, we wanted to do something that was a little bit more engaging with people because we talk all the time, and we figured let's let more people talk and do something else. And also, it's low budget and it's really easy to do, so we're just doing it.
And everyone's at home currently, so it's like perfect time.
Yes.
Break up the ghost stories.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Chelsea, do you have anything cool, like any cool sign off or something that you're working that you're workshopping?
No, but I would like to say that I would love Kayla and we've been talking, and like I was talking to her about how cool it would be if like we did a ghost, the sound
Besties.
Oh.
SG's method, because
Yep.
I've been like in the ridges, and like I used to live in Athens,
Mhm.
and I just love the ridges, and I'm like, man, that would be so fun.
It's pretty
So-
it's pretty crazy. It's pretty cool. You have to try it.
Yeah, it seems very like overwhelming, but at the same time like worth it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at like the very first time we did it, it was pretty, at least I was overwhelmed.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
then we've done it more, and then now even when we're getting like relevant responses and stuff, you know, I feel like we're both less like holy smokes, but
Yeah.
we're more like, it's kind of like if you're in a room full of people and everyone's kind of talking, but then you see someone a little bit farther away wave at you, you try to beeline towards that person to get them to talk, but then they get lost in the crowd. So like we're like, I don't know.
Ooh.
That's kind of how I think we're kind of going about it, but we're still babies at it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So like a lot of people are coming up.
It depends on the place. Like the ridges,
Mhm.
it pops off every time. It's like it never disappoints. But I mean, we've gone to other spooky places. We've gone to the Moonville Tunnel. We did, I mean, Jordan's parents' home, which is an old historic home. Crickets, nothing.
Wow.
It's unreal.
And it's cool too, because we've done like 2 locations in the same day. The first of which we haven't gotten, like, you're only hearing static. And then the second location, you're hearing too much.
Hmm.
You're hearing what and that being the ridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre, but it's really cool. And both Lindsay and I feel like we've earned it, because Lynn's heard her name and I've heard my name.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was weird. Yeah, it was
Wow.
Well, if we can set something up, it'd be fun. The 4 of us go try, because I think it would be so interesting with you and Kayla bringing your own areas of expertise to it. And I feel like the 2 of you are way more sensitive to that stuff than we are. So that might be interesting to pair us 4 together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll do it.
Yes. Thank you.
You know it. All right, Chelsea. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.